everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And today we're going to take a look at the Build-A-Figure Puck that you assemble once you have completed the Wolverine Legends line from Hasbro. Now, in order to complete the Build-A-Figure Puck, you have to get Sabretooth, who comes with Puck's head, Emma Frost, who comes with Puck's torso and legs, and Cyclops, who comes with Puck's arms. And once you have those three figures, then you'll be able to assemble your own Alpha Flight member Puck, or Uncanny X-Force member Puck if you prefer. Wolverine is the fourth figure in the series. However, you do not need to get Wolverine in order to complete your Puck figure. Wolverine comes with a display stand and not a Build-A-Figure piece. Okay, so let's take a closer look at Puck. Puck here basically continues a tradition of small mini Build-A-Figures that Hasbro started this past year with their Marvel Legends line. In Marvel Legends we got Hit Monkey and Rocket Raccoon, and now for the Wolverine Legends we're getting Puck. Puck here stands roughly about 3.5 inches tall. Here's Puck next to his Marvel Universe counterpart. So you can see he's a little bit taller, but essentially this Puck figure is, for all intents and purposes, just a shrunk up version of that Marvel Universe figure. They're basically sculpted the exact same way, exact same hand poses, pretty much exact same articulation. Really the only difference is the Marvel Universe figure doesn't have bendable knees, whereas this Marvel Legends version does, and the same thing for elbows. The Marvel Universe version has no elbow joints, whereas the Marvel Legends version does. Other minor differences is a little bit difference in the paint apps. The Marvel Universe version has a metallic orange P on his chest, whereas the Marvel Legends version is a little bit brighter, flat type paint, but not metallic. Other than that, though, those figures are virtually the same. He stands pretty close to the same height as the Hit Monkey figure from the regular Marvel Legends line. Hit Monkey keeps his legs bent, so he's maybe a little bit shorter, and Hit Monkey's also a little bit hunched over, but for the most part they're pretty much the same size. I don't have the Rocket Raccoon figure to compare, unfortunately, but I imagine they're probably pretty close to the same size as well. And then here he is with some of the older Marvel Legends minifigures. Now these were figures that actually shipped back in the day in the Toy Biz line with larger Marvel Legends figures. But you can see he's a little bit taller than some of those minifigures that would ship back in the day with other Marvel Legends. Detail-wise, he's got pretty good paint apps. As I mentioned before, a little bit different than the Marvel Universe, where it's not the metallic orange on the P. He's got some, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but he's got some shading on his skin tones. I don't know, it almost looks like he's got dirt on him when you really look at it close, but I think it's meant to be like shading to kind of indicate like hair. Puck's a pretty hairy character, and there's also they've sculpted in like little lines and stuff to simulate the hair. But you can see where they've attempted to do some shading on the skin, so it's not just base skin tone, to kind of give him that hairy look, help give him that hairy look. He's got the mustache that's sculpted on and painted, and nice detailing on the mask. You can see his ears on the inside of the mask, which is nice. So overall, nice little sculpting work there for the minifigure. And again, very similar to what we've seen with the Marvel Universe version. So real quick, let's go over articulation. As I mentioned before, he's got some additional articulation points that the Marvel Universe version did not have, but we'll just go over all of it here. His head is on a ball hinge joint, so he can look up, he can look down, he can turn left and right. He's got hinge shoulder ball joints for the shoulder, so he's got a decent range of motion there. He's got a single jointed elbow, and then he's got swivel wrists, but no hinges on the wrists, so his hands are pretty much, other than being able to swivel, are stuck in those positions. The one hand's in an open position so he can do hand plants and stand on his head puck style, and then the other hand is sculpted in a closed fist, just like the Marvel Universe version. No midsection articulation at all. Legs are on ball joints, so he's got decent motion outwards. You have to be careful. The leg, even though the legs come packaged in the Emma Frost figure attached to the torso, they do come off very easily, and at the knee and at the hip, so just be wary of that, and pops right back on, but they do come off very easily. Now what's funny is the arms, which come packaged separately from the torso, once you pop them on, at least with mine, I have not been able to get the arms pulled back off, and I've tried. I don't want to break it, so I'm not going to pull it any harder, but I've tugged on the arms pretty hard, and they still have not come off once I popped them on originally. And then single jointed knee, and then he does have hinged ankle joints with the ankle pivot. So articulation wise, I would have probably liked to see him at least have some hinge joints on the wrists, so you could kind of move the wrists around in different positions, so it's not like he's stuck always holding his hand out like that. But still, you can get him in some decent acrobatic poses. You can get him to stand on his head. And so for a small figure like this, it's not bad articulation. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of these mini Build-A-Figures in general. Puck's a pretty major player in the Marvel Universe. He's one of the lead members of Alpha Flight. So if he goes towards helping you build your Alpha Flight team. Now I only have Sasquatch. I don't have the Guardian figure that was released. But if you're trying to build your Alpha Flight, he'll make a nice addition to that. He's also a member of Uncanny X-Force now with Storm and Psylocke. So even though he doesn't typically wear the Puck outfit when he's in that comic, he usually just wears street clothes. But still, if you kind of want to have a makeshift Uncanny X-Force team, then he helps you build that team as well. So he's not a bad character to have. I know a lot of people would probably rather that he was a pack-in for a larger Marvel Universe figure, but in this day and age, in this market, with the expenses of the figures, I just don't think that's practical anymore. It's not like in the day when we'd get Dupe or Howard the Duck packed in with the larger scale figures. That would be nice, but I think, like I said, in today's market, this is probably the best chance we're going to get of getting a Puck figure, unless you want to get Puck as just a normal figure and then end up paying full price like they did with the Marvel Universe version, which I know a lot of people complained about having to pay full price for a figure half the size. So again, I think for this particular character, this was probably the best way of us getting him in today's type of market. So I'm pretty happy with it. I am glad that Hasbro, starting next year, is going to be going back to at least normal size Build-A-Figures, more on par with like we saw with the Iron Man Ironmonger in the Iron Man Legends wave. So we're still not going to be back to the large scale Build-A-Figures like we saw in the golden age days of Toy Biz, like with Galactus and such. and Apocalypse and those guys. But we are going to start seeing a bit larger figures, which I'm happy about. But again, I think Puck's a nice figure to have for your Marvel Legends collection, and so this is probably the best way we're going to get him, so I'm okay with it. And like I said, overall, the Wolverine Marvel Legends line, I think, is a very solid line of Marvel Legends figures. One of the best wave of Marvel Legends I've seen in a long time, and highly recommend that you pick up the figures in the set if you can find them. So that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'll catch you later.